we started out by giving you our estimate on the growth of the fire. The most recent estimate was that we're roughly at 30,000 acres. We've had a lot of fire activity today. We're still at 0% containment, and personnel, we have roughly 242 personnel on scene right now. We also wanted to talk about some of the information that's going out online, and some of it is not accurate information. That's not coming from us. It's people seeing posts out there on the internet. We just want to warn you guys that a lot of misinformation is out there. If you're seeking to get accurate and timely information, we ask that you call our public information line. That number is 530-303-2455. We have operators, multiple operators answering those. We have had instances where it does go to a voicemail. We ask you just keep trying to call back. Those operators are getting inundated with calls, but they'll get to your call as soon as they possibly can. So we understand it's frustrating, but just do us a favor and keep trying, and we'll get your questions answered. We also have the ability to put all this information out online on the CAL FIRE website. You can go to www.fire.ca.gov, and that website is updated with the most up-to-date and current information about this fire. Next up, we're going to go ahead and have Chief Marsolet, sorry, that's twice now, come on up. He's the Forest Service Supervisor.
It's third time's the charm, I know, with a name like Marsolet. So for all you Facebook Live fans and those who are paying attention, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for tuning in. This incident is going to evolve significantly each day over the many days in front of us, and this will be a primary media for us to engage with. My message was really simple. It was all the agencies came together to get us to this point. We know this fire has done things that nobody could have predicted, but that's how firefighting has been in the state this year. I've spent 4 weeks in the North State, and every time a fire broke, it outpaced our models 2-1. And so we're seeing that again here. But the Amador and El Dorado County sheriffs, the fire districts, all of the county fire resources from all of our foothill community agencies, as well as a number of other Sierra Pacific Industries and otherwise, everybody's come together, and that's largely why the fire's been able to be what it is in the footprint it is right now. And I know to many it feels like it's running completely out of control, but there has been a heck of a firefight underway now for the many days since the initial attack, and all the resources coming together. So I will be with you through the duration of this incident, and as it occurs on the El Dorado National Forest, you'll see many other speakers, but appreciate the time and commitment of the community to come together and get good information and then stay plugged in. So with that, Chief Blankenheim.
All right, thank you, Jeff. So again, my name is Mike Blankenheim, and I'm the unit chief for CAL FIRE for here in the Amador El Dorado unit, and also for this incident, I'll be the agency administrator for CAL FIRE. So I'll just give a quick kind of overview of kind of how we got to where we're at this afternoon for those of you that didn't get it the first time. So something that was brought up a minute ago was some of the misinformation and some of those kind of things that are starting to surface out there, and that's sometimes to be expected. And one of the reasons for that is this has been an incident that's developed really quickly and has grown extremely fast. Like Jeff said, it's outpaced the models on a 2-to-1 factor and that kind of thing. I do operational briefings fairly frequently on different fires, and normally when I do them, I've got a big map in the background that I can point to and that kind of thing, and there's not one up here right now. And the reason for that is this thing has grown fast enough over the last 12 hours that we're having a hard time keeping an accurate fire perimeter on a map. So we don't have it up here just yet. So a quick overview. Started Saturday afternoon in the Middle Fork of the Consumnes River, a little bit east of the community of Omo Ranch, in an area that's really remote, really hard to get to, really hard to get resources into, but we did. We had some favorable burning conditions in the first day or two for us, meaning that the air mass was really stable. There was a lot of smoke in the air from the Dixie fire that kept everything very shaded, and there wasn't a ton of fire growth. Where the fire did grow was uphill runs and through the heavy fuels and some of those kind of things. We were successful in some places in getting some resources in there and getting some of it put out, but in many places we were not. Part of that challenge in the first day or two was limited availability for aircraft because of the smoky conditions. They can't see, they can't drop retardant on it. Unfortunately, yesterday afternoon, around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the air mass around it changed, and I think everybody probably noticed that. The air got really clear, the wind started blowing a little bit, and unfortunately, that's really favorable for conditions for fire to start spreading. And as soon as the air mass changed, we saw rapid fire growth yesterday afternoon, all through last night, and all through today, and it's continuing right now as we speak. So yesterday afternoon at about 2 o'clock, the fire sat at about 1,300 acres, and I think where we're sitting right now is about 30,000 acres. So it's grown rapidly. Direction of fire spread has come from the middle fork of the Cosumnes River, almost in a due northerly direction, to where it's at now on the other side of Mormon Immigrant Trail. And unfortunately, in the path of that fire have been communities. Grizzly Flat was heavily impacted, Leone Meadows was heavily impacted, and amongst others. We do know there is some structure damage and some structure loss in those areas, and we've got our damage inspection teams coming in right now, and we'll be able to get some real accurate information on what exactly that damage is here in the near future. So current status, about 30,000 acres. The fire's crossed Mormon Immigrant Trail, I guess it'd be just east of Sly Park Lake up there. As the fire has progressed in that northerly direction, with that comes evacuation orders and evacuation warnings for many, many, many communities. And there's probably going to be more coming in the next day or two as this fire continues to grow on us. So the structure of the incident. So there's going to be a CAL FIRE incident management team showing up, and they're going to take command of this incident at 0700 tomorrow morning. So the CAL FIRE team is going to run the operation of the incident. But the command piece itself is going to be what we call unified command between the U.S. Forest Service and CAL FIRE, between the Amador El Dorado unit and the El Dorado National Forest. And the reason that is this fire has burned and impacted both of our jurisdictions. So we're going to share the responsibility of managing and of putting this fire out. So there'll be incident commanders from both agencies involved, one plan that we're going to execute together, and we'll work through this thing together. So, and that's going to be the command model for the foreseeable future, staying in unified command between the two agencies. So I think that's the end of the report, and of course I'll be available for questions.
Okay, so hopefully that was audible for everybody, and we got an update for everybody who missed it the first time around. Now we'll go back to our questions and hopefully help you guys out with some answers. The question is, can citizens provide help or give supplies to first responders?
So although we do appreciate the generosity, all of our firefighters are very well taken care of here on the incident. We ask if you do want to donate to that, is please donate to our evacuation centers, our charitable organizations that are taking care of the folks that are evacuated out of their homes and are going to have some tough times and some great amount of time out of their house depending on where this fire goes. So we ask with Red Cross and some of our other charitable organizations that you donate to them versus the firefighters. We do take very good care of our firefighters and will support them. Thank you.
Do we know how this fire started yet is the question. Currently, the fire is under investigation. We do have teams coming in to investigate, but right now we do not have a cause of the fire. The question is, does PG&E have plans to shut down power? Unfortunately, we do not have a member of PG&E here right now, but we will try and get that answer for our next meeting.
There's questions about evacuees, any time frame on when they will be able to get back in houses, things like that.
Okay, the question is time frame on when evacuees will be able to get back into residence, back on their property, and I'll hand that to Chief Martin.
So as I stated earlier, our number one goal is to get the citizens back into their community. But first, we have to make sure it's safe to do so. And with that, I mean it's safe for our firefighters that are still actively engaged in this incident. That is, we have a very active firefight going on, and we need to ensure the safety of the firefighters and the safety of the public. It is a top priority for us to get each and every one back into their into the communities, but we do need to make sure that is safe, and there's a lot of process with that. So I ask that you're please patient with us, and as soon as possible, we will get folks back into the community, but we have to make sure that safety is there for everyone coming into the community.
There's questions about air support and what kind of air support has been provided throughout the fire so far.
So the question's about air support and what kind of air support has been provided and available for this incident.
So currently assigned to this incident, we do have multiple helicopters that are currently working, and we do have a very large order for additional helicopters to come into the incident. As far as our fixed wing, we've had multiple air tankers flying this incident today. Regionally, we are very well staffed with large air tankers, very large air tankers, and our S2s. For the air support, we have to have clean air, as was mentioned earlier. It has to be safe for our pilots in our fixed wing to be able to fly and to get in there. And when that air is clear and we can take those targets of opportunities, trust me, we are doing that. Aircraft is another resource that, just as with our ground firefighters, that we do have to share amongst all the incidents that are in the Northern California. So we are competing for that, but we've been very fortunate today to have aircraft over the fire for a good portion of the day.
Do you have any information about wind direction and the changes expected overnight in regards to that, which direction people might anticipate the fire to head?
Okay, so the question is if we have an idea of what the wind direction is going to be tonight and how that's going to affect the fire.
Hey, James Thornock, Unified IC for the El Dorado National Forest. So we anticipate a continual diurnal kind of pattern, south-southwest flow of wind, which will, keep the fire kind of moving in that northeastern direction. We do get a diurnal pattern at night where those winds will calm and could come down canyon, but we generally will continue to see that southwest pattern.
Thank you.
How will residents be notified?
The question is, how will the residents in the area be notified when it's safe to go back into their homes?
So as we get into the phase of starting to look at repopulating the area, we will get that out through social media. We will get that out through press releases. We will get that out through these community meetings. Every means possible, we will start to get that information out. Like I asked before, we just ask for a little bit of patience. I do understand the magnitude of where we are, but as this fire is continuing to grow at an extremely rapid pace, we're putting all of our efforts into those communities right now to do the best that we can. But we will message that out through our public information officers and every social media platform that we can.
There's been some questions about mutual aid and if we are getting assistance from other states or resources coming from other areas, what that looks like.
Okay, the question is mutual aid and what that looks like. Are we getting resources from other states or where our help is coming from?
So we are getting all of our resources from every avenue possible. We do have resource orders for equipment to come from outside of the state of California. We have had some resources that came from outside the state into California to assist with the fires. From as far as Southern California to the far Northern California, any available resource that we can grab, we are getting to the incidents. So it's a wide net. And understand that there are fires in other states, so that also sometimes limits our ability to get resources from other states based on their availability. But we do have out-of-state resources coming into California.
So the question is when people will be notified if their specific area where they're living needs to be evacuated?
So I think like Dusty spoke to a little while ago, one of the main concerns, one of the main priorities for us and the team and for the forest is not to impact the people as much as humanly possible, but as we've seen with the fire like this, that it's going to impact people and it's going to impact their homes. So with that, we make those decisions on when and where we're going to evacuate based on just current conditions of the fire spread, and the fire direction. So we make the decisions based on where the fire is, where it's going, and that kind of thing. And we want to get out ahead of it, in front of enough to make sure people have plenty of time to get out of an area in a safe and organized manner. So this will be a little bit of a number here, but we try to get out 3 or 4, 4 or 5, 5 or 6 hours ahead of when we think a fire is going to actually impact a community before we put that order in place. If we're following the process and the fire allows us to do it, we'll put an area under an evacuation warning first, and that gives residents the time to realize that at least the team believes that the fire is coming that direction, and they can start making decisions on do they want to leave now and what they're going to pack and that sort of thing. And usually after the warning comes by, maybe an hour later, maybe 2 or 3 hours later, we put that area under an order, which means that the evacuations are ordered at that point in time. So that's kind of how the process works, but be assured that we don't want to evacuate a single person that we don't have to evacuate, but on the same token, we want to make sure that every person is out of the way of this fire. So the evacuation decisions are are based on fire conditions and fire spread.
If I can just add to that, so one thing you're going to see pretty quick from the forest is that it's no different for people who are camping out in the national forest and campgrounds. Given the erratic fire behavior that we've seen over the last 24, 48 hours, we're considering a full forest-wide closure that will essentially have people not in front of this. So those campgrounds up in the Crystal Basin, maybe as far up on the Amador Ranger District, we're looking at sort of a large footprint because of the extreme fire growth. So stay tuned. As soon as we take that final step to make a closure, we'll notify the public through both social media and other official channels. And so again, it's in the same spirit that Chief Blankenheim talked about. It's about keeping you out of the way of this fire. As it's demonstrated over the last day and a half, it has the potential for extreme fire behavior. So we'll let you know as that continues to get clear in the coming day.
That's a good question. We have evacuations set up, one at Cameron Park. And for those exact addresses, if you want to log on to the CAL FIRE website or go and call that phone number I gave you earlier, which I'm going to give you again right now, that will get you to the evacuation site. So if you call the public information line at 530-303-2455 and find out the current status of those evacuation areas, then they'll be able to help you out and direct you into the right directions. Okay. So the question is, will the water sources in the area be impacted by this fire? And we don't have an answer to that right now. We don't have the proper personnel on scene that can answer that appropriately. So we'll do our best to get you an answer for that by our next community meeting. Okay, sounds like that's all the questions we have. Right now I'm going to go to closing comments from Chief Martin.
So Dusty Martin, CAL FIRE, one of the incident commanders. So one thing I want each and every one of you out there to know is that this group of folks here is doing everything we can to start to control this incident. This incident is fueled by extremely dry vegetation, the weather, and topography. We are going to continue over the days to battle to get this under control. We will continue to push information out, to get the information in a timely manner that is consistent and accurate to each and every one of you. Our number one priority is the safety of the public and the safety of the first responders. We will do everything we can to get in there and get a perimeter established and get this to slow down and come to an end. Just understand it may take us a little bit of time and additional resources to do that. But we are here for the community, we are here for this, for the county, and we are here to see this to the end. Thank you.
Again, James Thornock, Unified Command IC, representing the El Dorado National Forest. Just want to say thank you, to all the hard work from the firefighters, both from Cal Fire, the U.S. Forest Service, El Dorado National Forest, and then all the other mutual aid resources that have come in to help us with this fire. The fire's been in full suppression strategy since the time it was reported, and there's been a lot of effort, and hard work to try and get a perimeter around this fire and help protect communities that are affected. So thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today for this community meeting. I would like to let you know that we will be having another community meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock, same time. We're going to use the same sources, so keep an eye on our website. Both the AEU Facebook page, we'll be putting it out again to give you the link for the Teams or Facebook Live. Our goal in this whole thing is to make sure that we can answer all the questions as best as to our ability as we can. So if you do have questions, this isn't the last time you're going to be able to answer them. We'll be here tomorrow, again at 5 o'clock, to help you with those answers.